One of my absolute favorite movies growing up was the movie Clueless. Looking back, I realize how ridiculous of a movie it is, but man, I love that movie. Please tell me I am not the only one. It is what began my love affair for Jeep Wranglers, and I longed for Cher Horowitz's infamous closet with the computerized system that dressed her every day. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Well, my guest today was not in the movie Clueless, nor does she drive a Jeep Wrangler. At least I don't think. But she did create an app called Cladwell that is basically the 2020 version of Cher's closet dressing system. But it's really so much more than that, and you will see why. Welcome to Business with Purpose. I'm your host, Molly Stillman of Still Being Molly, and this show is all about bringing you the stories behind the brands, companies, and small businesses that are changing the world. Each week, I interview an entrepreneur, a CEO, nonprofit director, community leader, or just an incredible person who's trying to make a positive impact, not only with their personal life, but also with their career. My goal is to show you that no matter what you do for a living, you can make an impact wherever you are. My guest this week is Erin Flynn, the CEO of Cladwell, a personal styling app that transforms your closet into one where you love and wear everything you own and makes getting dressed easy every morning with daily outfit recommendations. Cladwell has actually been featured on Good Morning America and even did a partnership with Marie Kondo. Now, this is not Erin's first startup, and she is basically a self-proclaimed reluctant entrepreneur, and she has so many startup stories to tell. Now, if you have followed me for any amount of time, then you know that I love the Cladwell app. We talk a lot about my love for this app during this conversation, but I am a Cladwell user. I've used it for quite a few years, and so I was really excited to have Erin on the show, and I know you will love this conversation. So without further ado, on to my chat with Erin. Hey, Erin, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
I am a massive fan of Cladwell. So to have you on the show is really very exciting for me because I have been using Cladwell since you guys started, like from the beginning. So I like to call myself like an original Cladwell fan. But I mean, I literally remember when the app launched and all of the changes that have happened since then and how much it's evolved over the years. And I'm still committed to this day. I mean, I talk about it all the time and tell people about it all the time. My community knows how much I love it. And so I'm just really excited to hear a little bit more of the backstory and how you got started with it and all of that. But again, I just want to reiterate, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And I love, meeting, I call them Cladwell people in the wild. And especially people who have been with us from the beginning, who have seen the ups and downs and just been with us and trying to pursue this mission I'm just again, so excited to talk to you.
Yes. Okay. So before we get into all of that, we need to get to know you, Erin. So let's have you give us the Erin 101. Tell us who you are, how you got started, and how you got to where you are today.
Oh, man. I feel like that's a very loaded question. So I would do my best to answer. Yeah. So I grew up in Indiana, and pretty much like any good Hoosier would do, I got a full ride basketball scholarship to go play Division II basketball in Memphis, Tennessee. So I went down, played for all 4 years. And then after graduating, got married. I think we did all the 5 most stressful things you can possibly do in 1 month. We got married, we moved to 5 states away, and my husband started a new job, also got a dog. But when we went out there, we moved out to the northeast Pennsylvania, and I didn't really know anyone. And this was 2009. So not only were people not hiring inexperienced marketers, they were literally at this time, the economy was tanking and they were cutting marketing departments altogether. So after about 3 months of taking no paid internships and also just pretty much being in a deep depression, I was like, if I'm ever going to get a job, I'm just going to have to do it myself. And so that's pretty much what I did. I started a fashion blog. And again, this was kind of the beginning of influencer marketing, and kind of grew it into my own small business. I attended multiple seasons of Fashion Week, worked with a bunch of different brands. And it was during this time that I noticed that, brands didn't really know how to talk to bloggers at that time. Yet they wanted to work with them. And there was kind of this miscommunication happening. So we had the idea for our first startup company called Canopy. And so I ended up kind of shutting down my blog more or less and turning it into an influencer network. And so that was kind of the first introduction into the startup life. We had no idea what we were doing. And basically went through an accelerator, raised some money from VCs, and then did that for about 3 years. And ultimately, we ended up shutting down because it was really hard to kind of get people to understand this new market of influencer marketing. And that was probably 2011 or so. So after that, we ended up moving back to the Midwest. So we moved back to Cincinnati, Ohio. And I ended up going to work at EW Scripps, which owns, I think it's like over 35 television stations across the country, like a lot of news networks. They used to own HGTV, and kind of worked on an entrepreneur role there. So got to learn the ins and outs of how do you start something within a company. And about 2 years into that, I started to feel the pressure of maybe I should get back into the startup scene. And needless to say, at this time, before I went and worked at Scripps, it had gotten really bad. We had thrown all our money into Canopy. We shut it down. We had to move back in with my parents. So this was not a glorious ride. So when I had the itch to get back in the startup community, I was feeling a lot of angst about it. And I ended up meeting with the founder at that time, which it was an entirely different product, same name, but more for men, and just really wanted to kind of take the market to women. And so that was kind of how I came on board at Cladwell, and it has since evolved. But I will stop talking now because I feel like that was a long spiel.
No, that was great. I mean, and I honestly, I didn't know all that kind of history with Canopy and all of that. And yeah, I mean, I've been blogging since 2007. And so you're right. Those years kind of in 2009, 2010, 2011, I mean, people didn't know what influencer marketing was.
No.
It wasn't a term that people were connected to in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all. We would go into these meetings and be like, the future is people are going to take recommendations from other people who they, follow and are inspired by. And they would just look at us with blank stares, what are you talking about? And now it's so funny to say because it's just it's second nature today. Of course you're following people on Instagram, and if they recommend something and you like it, you may get it. And so it's just a natural thing today, but then it was not.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So you got connected. So you've kind of been in this startup life, and you got connected with Cladwell. So I will say, I've been on board with Cladwell from what I thought was the very beginning, but I guess there was a piece before that with men. So I did not know that piece. So what was it when it first got created?
Yeah, so when Cladwell first started, it was back in 2013, and it was started by 3 guys, and they basically were trying to solve their problem, which was they wanted a personal shopping tool, something to help them figure out what to buy next. And so that's what it originally started. But I came on in 2015, and at that point, we were literally changed products, and we were talking about basically expanding the market to women, because we would get all these women that would email us and say I need help with my closet. And we had gotten really into this idea of a capsule wardrobe, which is all around loving and wearing every single item in your closet. And so when we started getting deep into what is a capsule wardrobe, how does this help, that's kind of where my personal experience came to light, because I would wake up every morning, I would go to my closet and say the same thing, which is I have too many clothes and nothing to wear, which was ridiculous because I had 450 items in my closet. And so this idea of how in the world could this be, and not even understanding how I got there, and also not understanding that not being satisfied with my closet kept me on this perpetual cycle of continually shopping, which actually only made the problem worse. And so we really wanted to focus on like, what if we approach personal styling using the capsule wardrobe approach? Like, could this help people? And then the app is actually only 2.5 years old. So we just launched the app 2.5 years ago and have been trying to do that ever since.
Yeah, I was totally curious. So I went to my archives. So my first blog post about the Outfits app, which is really funny because this episode that we are doing airs March 11th, 2020. And the first time I blogged about Cladwell was in March of 2017. So like
yes,
3 years ago.
Been at the beginning.
Yeah, it was like right at the beginning. And it's so funny because when people ask me like, okay, what is like, and for those that are listening and you're like, okay, you guys have been talking about Cladwell, what is it? The best way I describe it and like how I got into it is like, if you ever watched the movie Clueless in the 90s and you were like, I want the closet thing that Cher Horowitz has to pick out her outfit for the day. That's what it is, guys. Like, that's in app form. It's the Clueless outfit closet, like closet outfit thing.
In real life.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it really is. Like I say, it's a personal styling app that, transforms your closet into one you love. And with that, we make getting dressed easy with every morning with daily outfit recommendations using the clothes in your closet, that's what was so great about the Clueless app is like she went and looked at her closet and then she went to her computer and like it, like it did all the magic and then spit out outfits. And that's literally what it does. And it's a big game changer because you can, not only are we, helping you get dressed every morning, but it's this idea that when you log what you wear, you can track and see what pieces of your closet you actually are wearing and what you don't. And most people, this is the big epiphany moment, which is most people only wear 20% of their closet. Mm-hmm. And yet they're holding on to 80% of this clutter. And it's really hard then when you go into a store or get an email that says there's a 30% off sale to resist that without knowing what you really love and wear. Yeah. And so we kind of help you kind of transform your closet over, 30, 60, 90 days just through, getting dressed every morning.
Yeah. I mean, I completely would echo all of those sentiments. For me, like now having used the app daily for 3 years and along the way you guys did some really awesome updates where you could like add custom items to the closet, which was game changing. So if because obviously when people say like, well, how does it work, and you say, okay, like you go into there's a little feature in it where there's a closet and you can add different items, and so there's already items that are like loaded into the system and everything has different tags. But say you own like a really unique shirt that there's nothing in the closet app, part of the app that looks like it, you can then take a picture of the item, or like what I'll try to do is find almost like the product image from the website and then upload that. And you can then add different descriptive tags. But what I've found over the past 3 years is that it really has helped me to hone my personal style, and I shop smarter. And now, like, I will look at my closet and say, oh, you know what? Like, I don't own a plain black skirt, which could go with, so many things in my closet. Or like, I don't have, a nice black blazer that would, elevate this particular outfit for like a more professional business setting or something like that. Like it really gives you more like smarter suggestions. But the other thing too is it's helped me to actually wear what's in my closet, because it'll give you like the little, like what I call the red dot of death with like you see like there's like a little notification by a particular item in your closet that's like, you haven't worn me in 6 months or whatever. And in that respect, like it's helped me to be like, okay, well, if I haven't worn this item in 6 months, why haven't I worn it? Can I wear it today? And if I can't wear it today, why? Like, why am I not wearing this item if it's in my closet? Like, is it just a seasonal issue, or is it that just it doesn't, like, I don't like the item or whatever? Yeah. So it's just, it's really helped me hone in on my personal style. And obviously, like my listeners and people that read my blog and follow me know, like, I'm a huge advocate for ethical fashion. And so for anybody that is interested in a capsule wardrobe or interested in really just being smarter with how they invest in pieces, like this app is just, it's the perfect thing to kind of integrate into your kind of like your lifestyle, because then it just really helps you to, again, just be smarter with how you're making purchases and all those kinds of things.
I love this so much. It's like your living, breathing testimonial.
Yes.
Great.
You're welcome. Sorry.
So
obviously, I love it. So.
Because it's like, I would say for the person who is scared by the concept of like less but better, it's just like not quite there yet, or even decluttering, because I was totally there. I mean, I had 450 items. So I hear you and I get it. I would say the app is great because you can, first of all, you don't have to add in all your items. I would say add in your, favorite 20 items, like start there. And adding, like you said, is really simple. We have a database of 17,000 items. So, we likely have, I would say, 75 to 80% of your closet without having to add a single photo. But you can always take a screenshot of the product or take a photo of, your item hanging in your closet and put it in the app. So that, and then also like what you're saying is, it's just, yes, it helps you figure out what to wear every morning, just as, plain as personal styling is. But what it truly does is make you mindful and kind of thoughtful for what is it that I truly love? Like, what is my style? And have, most of the time we go through, especially as women, we go through all these different transitions in our lives, like, becoming a mother or going to work or, graduating college or whatever it may be. And oftentimes we forget to ask ourselves, like, who is it that I want to be? What do I want to portray? What do I like? Do I like stripes? Do I like polka dots? Like, do I don't like any patterns? So these are all things that if you know what you like and you know who you are, you can make so many better decisions. And that's where I really believe the closet is really representative of your head. So if you have a messy closet, you may have a messy head. And from there, you can really transform kind of the rest of your life. And that's truly what happened to me. It sounds cheesy, but it is the truth.
No, I will absolutely agree with you 1,000%. And I think I've shared this a little bit here on the podcast over the last couple of years. But, we're going to get real deep here for a second. So about 2 years ago, my husband and I, we lost a pregnancy in the second trimester, and then we had another second trimester pregnancy loss, so back to back within 5 months.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, one of my very therapeutic practices was purging, just getting rid of things, and just not Marie Kondoing, but although you guys have collaborated with Marie Kondo, plug. But really, I think getting into a mindset where I no longer held on to things because I felt like I needed to. And it was really healing for me in a lot of ways. And I used the app to help me kind of figure out, okay, I'm not wearing this particular thing, and just to be also totally honest, my body changed so much after, a total of 5 pregnancies, 2 successful ones, but my body's just different now. And so there's a lot of things that were in my closet where they weren't going to fit again. It's just a reality. It was not going to fit again. It's not going to happen. And it was just making me sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that's super touching that you're sharing that. I feel like there's so much we're holding on to without being really conscious as to why. And I think the moment that you start kind of releasing that and letting go of the clutter, and it's kind of, again, it goes back to the more you know about who you are, and if everything that you own and have, including the items in your closet, are things that you are actually using and love, it changes how you go on from there. So that's where I always say, if you walk into your closet in the morning, and as I hope we're all getting dressed in the morning, at least on some level.
This will be another conversation for another day.
Exactly. You are faced with these items, and if 80% of them you don't actually like, that kind of affects your mentality. I think it's a journey. It's actually, yes, we're talking about personal styling and clothing, but it bleeds into other parts of your life, and it really is transformational. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. I had my dear friend Essence on the show last summer, and she is actually a professional organizer, and she specializes in closets. And about a year and a half ago, maybe even almost 2 years ago at this point, I hired her to come in. So like I'd done a big clean out of my closet using the app to figure out what I wasn't wearing. And then I hired her to come in and organize my closet. And I cried when she was done. And we talked about how a lot of the clients that she works with, like she realizes how so much of our, like, as women, like men will never relate to this part, but for women especially, there's a lot of like emotional baggage that can sometimes be quite literally being held onto in our closets. Yeah. And she talked about how like she was helping this one woman to clean out her closet, and she like had experienced a death in the family, and like there was a dress hanging in her closet that was like reminded her of the passing of this loved one. And and then like she had another client who had lost a ton of weight, but like she was like still hanging on to all the clothes that were too big for her. And she realized it was like the fear of what if she gains the weight back.
Yep.
And so she just talked about how like there's this huge psychological aspect to our closets and all of that. And it got really deep. And we were just at the end of the conversation, I remember after we even stopped recording, we were like, man, that went to a place like I didn't even know it could. But it really, so much of our self-worth and all that kind of stuff is just in our physical appearance and what we put on and how we represent ourselves in that way.
Yeah. And I think like, again, it goes with, there's a lot of different aspects of it, but one of the aspects is that we are also constantly kind of bombarded with this message of buying more, and, fashion has gotten, and as I'm sure you've talked about in the past with ethical clothing, and we've gotten to the point where we are shopping way too fast. And that pressure of constantly buying more and more is not good. Like it's making the problem worse. And so you have these overstuffed closets that, again, we're only wearing 20% of. And then the only way you kind of get in this, again, cycle where you think like, well, the only way to like my closet is to declare closet bankruptcy and start over, which normally, costs a lot of money, or to just continue to buy more pieces thinking like, oh, I'm going to like those better than what I have. And what that does is just like keeps you in that constant cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like we've been trained to think that we just need more new things and that what we have isn't enough and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But like,
yeah, and it is crazy because like, so I've been doing a bunch of kind of research and trying to just get more, I would say like more stats on like, what is the really here? When did all this start? And I've learned recently that it's really only started this has been going, over the last 100 years, marketing's picked up and so forth. But really the big change started in the 1980s, which again, for our generation, it's all we've known. And that's kind of the mind-boggling part to me is like in the 1980s or right before the 1980s, we only bought 12 new items per year on average as Americans. And today we buy on average 68 items per year. And that's just been, the last 30 or so years. But that's like my lifetime. So for me, this is like, I just thought this is how it was. And it wasn't. This was actually like the way traditional retail has transformed has made these changes.
Hey, I am taking a quick break from my chat with Erin to share with you the brand new Spring/Summer 2020 collection from Seiko Designs. The Hopefully Yours collection has everything from beautiful handcrafted legacy leather goods to hand-woven and block-printed textiles. And each piece in this collection is truly something to be treasured and celebrated, just like you. We promise that these pieces are going to become treasured items in your collection, telling not just a story of your personal style, but of hope, resilience, and belief. I wanted to share with you a couple of my favorite pieces from the collection, and they are actually the 2 new beautiful chiffon skirts. Now, I didn't think I was a skirt lover, but let me tell you how much I adore these skirts. The skirt in the brushed rainbow pattern is this beautiful striped rainbow print that is absolutely stunning, and every single time I wear it, people ask me about this skirt. And then I also have, for my animal print lovers, the chiffon skirt in the Leo print, which is absolutely gorgeous. You can dress these skirts up. You can wear them with heels for like a nice date night, or you could even just throw on a t-shirt and a denim jacket and a pair of sneakers, and you have a really cute, stylish, casual look. But again, everything is fair trade, ethically made, and so not only what you are wearing is gorgeous, but it is also changing lives. So to shop this incredible collection, go to seikodesigns.com/Molly Stillman. That's SSEKO designs.com/Molly Stillman. Now back to my chat with Erin. I love the way that you've, into the app, you've integrated obviously the encouragement to shop your own closet. And obviously the daily outfit suggestions and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it'll generate an outfit that I'm like, I never would have thought to put those pieces together. And then I try it on and I end up loving it. But then you also have built into it, you have different suggestions of okay, well, if you bought, a denim jacket or something like that, if that's missing in your closet, you would have, 1,000 more outfits to wear. And so it just gives you those suggestions of you don't need to buy 20 more things to have all these different things. You can invest in 1 or 2 new pieces that you can mix and match with what's currently in your closet, and it feels like an entirely brand new wardrobe.
Yeah, it's really great because with the daily outfit recommendations, kind of how I use the app myself is a lot of people do. They just take the suggestions. Other people like myself, I will get inspired by 3 of the items, but then I'll want to switch out my shoes or, do something like that. So I'll edit the item and then log it. But when it comes to shopping, it's when you start, again, tracking and seeing what you really love to wear, there's very much an aesthetic there that is true to yourself. And from there, you can kind of see, okay, well, out of the categories that I have, like my tops and jeans and shoes and so forth, what am I missing? And that's the great part is you can kind of add that into your shopping list of, so it's if I think I'm missing a blazer, I think I'm missing a jean jacket, you can add that in, and then you can see all your possible outfits that you could get if you bought that item. So it's almost like shopping before shopping.
Yeah.
And it's great because then you're more intentional. That way, when you go to the store, again, it's not saying that you're never going to shop. It's just that when you do, you actually understand why.
Yeah.
And so it's making that mental shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of my favorite features of it is the ability to create different capsules. And I actually love to use this feature when I am traveling. And it has helped me in the last couple of years. I almost never, unless I absolutely have to, I almost never check a bag anymore when I travel, because now I can create a travel capsule for wherever I'm going. I can put and I can see the different outfits that I can make out of, I only have to pack 5 to 7 items and I have 14 days worth of outfits, but I can see it all visually there. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah,
and so that's one of my favorite features that I think doesn't get talked about enough because it is game changing.
I know. I keep thinking, I'm I need to partner with a cruise line or an airplane or something.
Yes.
American Airlines, if you're out there, call me. But yeah, it's something that I feel it's kind of one of those power user features that they get it. They're yeah, of course I would create a capsule when I travel. And it's so great because now, and we are constantly, my parents live about an hour and a half from where I do. And we're constantly going up there, having a little kid, taking him to go see them. And I always just throw whatever items I'm taking into the app, and I know what I'm going to wear for the 4 or 5 days that I'm there. It's a really great feature. And also because the weather follows you, from your phone, if you're going to Florida, then it's going to recommend, warmer outfits based off your weather there versus if you're, in Ohio and it's freezing.
Yeah.
So that's so cool to hear that you use it.
Yes. I mean, seriously, it's so helpful. And I also have done a couple of, they call it like the 7x7 or 10x10 challenges. And for those that are like, what is that? Basically what it is you pick either 7 items that you wear 7 different ways for 7 days, or you can do the same thing like with 10 items. So 10 items, 10 different ways for 10 days. And so I'll do that within the app too, is I'll create like a little 10x10 or 7x7 capsule. And then it gives me just those outfit recommendations just for those 7 days or 10 days or whatever. And that's another really fun way to just kind of, play around with what you have in your closet, or like challenge yourself, and also it helps you to show like you actually don't need that much stuff. Now, This is coming from somebody who I love fashion. So I do like I will never be the person that only has 30 items in their closet.
Yep.
Like that's just not me. That's okay.
And that is okay. Yes.
Yes. But at the same time, like I also am not somebody who just goes out and just buys new stuff all the time. Like I used to be honest.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I think right now I have around probably 100 total in my closet, somewhere around there. But in my the winter capsule, I think I had like 65 items. But I just had my mindset flipped completely. Like I was shopping all the time. It was just almost like a hobby. And so today I shop when I need to, which I think is an appropriate amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just now I'm losing track of what we were just talking about.
No, it's the
10x10. That's what I want to talk about. Oh, okay. 10x10. Yes. My biggest advice for people is this is normal that you look at, even with a capsule wardrobe, it is very normal to get bored with your clothes. Or maybe it's just, we've been in winter for a long time and you're like, I'm just tired of my sweaters or whatever it may be. Typically, that is the moment in which you need to be conscious, because at that point it is very easy to be like, well, I'm just going to go to the mall and, see what's out there. And you don't know that you're doing it out of boredom, when really that's where 10x10 challenges, traveling somewhere, putting stuff in a travel capsule, or just creating a fun, alter ego capsule. But doing something that helps you be creative within your own clothes, that will snap you out of that, to really decide whether, yes, you are missing an item, or whether you were just flat out bored. And so I highly recommend like doing 10x10s or 7x7s with that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. The other thing I love that is a newer-ish, I guess it's actually a year old at this point, the feature is the Explore feature. And so now you guys integrated almost like kind of like a social networky type feature into the app, where you can follow other people and you can post a picture of your outfit along with like what it looks like in the app. And I love it, because what has been really fun for me is to then follow other people, see what they're wearing each day. But what's really cool is, say, like, for example, like I'm looking at my app right now and I see my friend Jess is wearing like a really cute outfit today, and I can tap on her outfit and then it'll even give me suggestions of similar outfits to hers, like based on what I have in my closet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most genius feature ever.
Yeah. It goes back to this concept of, well, first of all, when we launched that feature, we really wanted it to be like positive. It's like this whole, we believe our clothes matter, for us and for those on the other side of the world. And we wanted to basically build a community around people who have similar shared beliefs, which is, sometimes different than, I love Instagram, but Instagram has a different role in that. And so this is kind of where you can feel safe in posting, your cute outfit, and then maybe you'll get some snaps. But also it's this concept of like, if I'm following someone and I love their style, to be able to like look into their closet and kind of see how their closet is organized. And by organization, I just mean like, oh, do they have 3 jackets? Do they have, an anorak jacket? Do they have skinny jeans, bootleg? And so it's another way to kind of get inspiration on how to cultivate your own style by being inspired by others.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I love that like giving snaps and like reminds me of Legally Blonde, like snaps, everyone.
Yeah,
Snaps.
exactly.
But really it's super encouraging just to be on again, it feels weird saying social network, but I guess there's like a little social aspect to it where it's so encouraging. Like nobody's trolling anybody. Like
Right. Exactly.
nobody's being like, you look fat in that dress. Like nobody's saying that. And it's great.
No.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. And again, like I'm not one for normally taking selfies. So
Yeah.
I think it's amazing when I get on there and I'll, put my photo on there or I get to look at others people's and I'm like, it's really cool. It's really cool to see that, people care. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I am curious, like, what is kind of on the horizon for Cladwell? I know that you've had a lot of growth and changes and struggles, like with any startup. What has been kind of the project or what have you been working on in the last year or so since, you've kind of transitioned a little bit?
Yeah, so there have been some major changes. So in August, my husband and I bought the company, and like I said, I've been a part of Cladwell for 4 years, but this has kind of been a major shift from we were originally investor backed and kind of like this fast growth tech startup, and this shift in buying the company. Yes, we still want to grow, but at the same time, I really want to be true and loyal to our brand roots. And I want this company to mean something. And I want to share this mission of, we believe our clothes matter. And so with that, we have some exciting announcements, which is that probably in, I would say late spring, early summer, we are kind of doing a big redesign of the app. A lot of like the core features are all staying the same, but it's going to be a new look and feel. We have people have been begging us for Android for so many years, and I feel so bad because what they don't realize is that to build an Android app, you're basically starting from scratch. You're building an entirely new app on a different code base. And so it's just taken us a lot of time because of those resources. But we are in progress.
Yay!
So I know. So I'm really, really hopeful that, again, I hate to say timing, but I am really hopeful it's going to happen here soon. And so I have some more things I can't quite share yet,
That's
but
okay.
there's a lot in the works, and that's why I'm super excited for anyone who hasn't tried it yet or maybe did try it, but wasn't so sure. I would say now is the time to get in because it's going to be a really fun journey over this next year.
I'm really excited and I can't wait.
Yay.
Well, Erin, this has been so much fun and so just a pleasure to hear a little bit more of the backstory and hear more about how you got involved in it and everything. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. But before we go, it's my favorite portion of the show where we just ask some fun get to know you questions. So Erin,
man.
are you
Yay,
up
I'm
for
excited.
that?
Cool.
Awesome.
See how I do on this.
Now, so you said you played basketball. So this question is one I love to ask a lot of my guests. And so like if you were a professional athlete, what would your walk-up song be? Like your hype song?
Oh my goodness. Okay. there's so many different directions I could go with this. I from what I listen to like a lot of Johnny Swim. I'm a little obsessed.
Yes.
But that doesn't make for a very good hype song. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, Beyonce, like Girls Run the World or something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a
Might
good
be
hype
a little
song.
more up my alley these days.
I love it. I love it. So we were talking earlier in the show about what, how people shopped 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And so we're like nostalgic for that era. What do you think people are going to be nostalgic for 40 years from now?
That's a great question. It's funny because I think we're in this kind of reversal of we've gotten so tech oriented and now people are craving like actual community, like with real people and sitting and having coffee next to each other. So being nostalgic, skinny jeans.
You think skinny jeans are going to go away? Because I hope not.
I mean, I hope not too, but that very well could be the thing. They're going to be like, do you remember those days in the 2020s when we wore skinny jeans? I can hope that's the case.
I saw an article maybe it was like last spring or last summer, that was saying that low-rise jeans were going to come back. And I was like, please no. Please
no. I don't even care. If that comes back, it's a no. Hard no.
It's a hard no. Where like you bend over and I'm just going to say it, your butt crack's hanging out. Like the Britney Spears 1998 era, like bell bottom, low-rise jeans. No, thank you.
No, yeah. Again, if that comes back, it's not happening for me. Not at all.
It is not happening. I love it. That's hilarious. Okay, next question. If you were transported 400 years into the past with no clothes or anything else, how would you prove that you were from the future?
Oh my goodness. How would I prove I am from the future? Certainly my hair color.
Oh, yeah?
I have a bit of an obsession with changing my hair color quite frequently.
Oh, yeah?
And so I'm thinking if I was transported, it would be pretty obvious in approximately 2.5 months when you could start to see my roots grow out that this coloring, this was from the future.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a really good one. Yeah, because I guess there would not have been like, what color is your hair right now?
It is blonde.
It's blonde, right?
Also, I feel like I'm answering these. These are very shallow answers.
No!
So if you're looking for some deep stuff, I'm just, not in the zone.
No, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, Erin. That's amazing. Okay, perfect answer. Okay, then my last question is the question that I ask all my guests. And that is, Erin, what does it mean to you to run a business with purpose?
That is a great question. Honestly, it means, like, again, that sounds very cheesy. It means so much, both to me personally and then, again, what I want to do in the world. And running a business with purpose is twofold. So one, I think of running a business, I'm serving my employees. I'm serving the people that work for us in this with me every day. And I want to make that the best it can possibly be for anyone that says that they work for Cladwell. And then the second thing is I want to serve others. And so when I really say, like, we believe our clothes matter, like, I believe that, serving others looks like helping people see that, they can love and wear everything in their closet. And by knowing who you are, ultimately will help you in other parts of your life. And then also that, what you wear and what you own actually has a huge effect on other people in the world that we may never meet. And so both serving the people that work for me and serving others who hopefully use our app or will use our app someday makes getting up and going to work so much more fulfilling than any other job I've ever had in the past.
I love that. Erin, I love that. That was really deep. And I thought it was great. And just, I mean, it's so evident in just talking with you and just having followed you and the Cladwell team for a while. Like, it's really evident how much you guys care about what you're doing and how passionate you are about it. And that passion is contagious. So I just appreciate everything that you do and creating an app that I love. So I will shamelessly, obviously, I've already basically plugged how much I love it, but I will shamelessly tell everyone, if you are an iOS user, Android users, be on the lookout.
That's right.
Download Cladwell, support them, use it. You will fall in love with it too. I'm not being paid to say this or anything. So I just genuinely love it and use it. And I just want to see you guys continue to be successful and all of that. So, Erin, thank you for coming on the show. And I know how busy you are. So it was really just a treat to have you today.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, thank you for being a Cladwell person in the wild.
Anytime. I would love to know what you loved about this episode or something you learned. Let me know on social media. You can find me at Still Being Molly or at Business with Purpose Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. And don't forget to use that hashtag Business with Purpose Podcast. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. If you're a first-time listener of the show, welcome. Be sure to visit the archives for past shows featuring incredible entrepreneurs and business owners who are literally changing the world with their businesses. And if you are a regular listener, thank you for your support. Be sure to head on over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, Spotify, and basically wherever you listen to podcasts, and click that subscribe button. Clicking that subscribe button helps to make sure you never miss a new episode of the show. And while you're there, would you take a moment to leave a review for me? Leaving a review helps me to know what you're liking and how the show is personally impacting you. This show is produced by Third Wheel Media. Now, thank you so much for listening, and go do something good with purpose on purpose.